The fight to reclaim the Democratic Party starts with you, and it starts now. But first, a warning. The issues that we face in America today are great, and they won't be solved overnight. To add insult to injury, we're more alone, isolated, and weary than ever before. Many have lost a sense of community, and that loss and isolation hit record levels under pandemic lockdowns. Many have lost friends and loved ones in the past few years, just increasing the isolation many already face. As the dawn of a new Trump presidency approaches, some will feel an urge to isolate themselves more. As a society, as a people, we have to fight that instinct. Instead, we need to reach out to people and let our acquaintances, friends, and family know that they're not alone. We need to build new relationships and strengthen the ones we already have. If we can't do that as a society, we have no real chance of turning the tide and building a stronger Democratic Party and a stronger America. The rest of this video is kind of long, it's a long topic, so it's broken down into sections. You can watch the certain sections you want or everything from start to finish. Each section is standalone, but each is only one step in the changes that we need to make to get our party and country back. In my previous post-election analysis videos, I discussed how America needs to take back the Democratic Party and the DNC from the establishment. In this video, we'll outline the real, tangible steps needed to make that vision a reality. The stakes have never been higher. If you're tired of watching the powerful few control our lives, tired of feeling unheard, then this video is for you. Together, we can build a new Democratic Party, one that stands for justice and equality for all Americans. The 2024 presidential election is a catalyst for change. Many are feeling disenchanted, lonely, afraid, and even desperate. The Democrats lost not just because of political failures, but because they weren't listening to the average American. Rising costs, stagnant wages, crushing debt, fears of war, and a climate crisis threaten us all. We need a party that champions human rights and equality for all, and not just lip service. But to create this new Democratic Party, we need a social and political movement, one that rises from the ground up. This is a call for a nonviolent revolution like the civil rights movement of the 1960s that can transform our country and our future. A social movement is a collective effort by people united around a shared goal. It's not just a protest, it's a sustained push to change the political, social, or economic order. Social movements are driven by common grievances and a vision for a better future. Movements have stages. They identify injustices, form collective identities, organize leaders, gather resources, strategize, build alliances, and push forward with persistence until change happens. We envision an America where every person, regardless of background, can live with dignity and hope. An America where working people have the power, not the corporate elite. Where healthcare is a human right, not a privilege for the wealthy. This is an America that respects every voice, defends every vote, and stands for justice and equality in all its forms. It is a nation where workers are treated with respect, paid a living wage, and protected by strong unions. We envision a country where housing is a basic human right, not a commodity exploited by corporate landlords, where families can afford to live, save for the future, and provide for their children without fear of debt or homelessness. In this America, the environment is safeguarded for future generations, with bold climate action taken to preserve our planet and create green jobs. Democracy thrives here, with every vote counted and every person empowered to shape their future, free from gerrymandering and suppression. We see a society that embraces diversity, promotes racial and social justice, and dismantles systemic inequalities. In our vision, communities are strong and connected, not isolated and divided. No one stands alone, and together we confront and overcome the challenges of our time. This is the America we will fight for, a nation that serves all, not just the powerful few. This is our guide for building a movement to reclaim the Democratic Party. Let's break it down step by step on some ways we can achieve that. Change begins with a shared sense of injustice. Look around you. What do you see? Stagnant wages, the high cost of healthcare, attacks on civil liberties, lack of affordable housing, climate disasters, and communities left behind. These are some of our shared grievances. Movements start when people like you and me recognize that enough is enough. Catalysts like the 2024 election wake us up to the depth of our problems. They force us to act. This is our catalyst. This is our time to step up and demand a voice at the table. We must harness this energy to organize, demand change, and refuse to accept a system that fails so many. To do that, we have to form a collective identity and solidarity. We'll explore that in our next chapter. We are stronger together. For any movement to succeed, it must build a shared identity, a sense of us. This movement isn't about Democrats versus Republicans. It's about people versus greed, justice versus corruption. We are the people, the workers, students, parents, immigrants, LGBTQ+ individuals, young and old, every color and creed, fighting for dignity, equality, and a better future together. All for one and one for all. To rally people, we need a compelling narrative, a frame that defines our cause. We must tell the story of why our grievances matter and why we must act. Our story is one of hope, resilience, and unity in the face of injustice. The framework for the new Democratic Party is simple. We are building a just, equitable America for all. This frame unites every person, regardless of race, gender, economic status, sexual orientation, religion, or background, around the belief that everyone deserves dignity, security, and opportunity. Our party fights for every American, leaving no one behind, and stands as a bulwark against corruption, inequality, and injustice. We are committed to building a society where every voice matters, and every person has a fair shot at a better life. At its core, we believe in an America where human and civil rights are non-negotiable. We will fight tirelessly to protect every American's civil liberties and human rights, standing firm against discrimination, hate, and systemic injustices. This includes advocating for racial equality, LGBTQ+ rights, reproductive rights, religious freedom, disability rights, and justice for immigrants and indigenous communities. Our movement is rooted in the principle that everyone deserves equal protection and respect under the law. Equally important is our commitment to economic justice for all. The current economic system cannot continue to serve only the wealthy and powerful. It must work for every American. Our party will fight for living wages, fair labor practices, universal health care, affordable housing, and economic opportunities that uplift working families, the poor, and the middle class. What's most important to you? Please tell us in the comments below. No matter what stage of life you and your family are in, whether you need affordable or free childcare or care when you're old, we will fight for every American at every stage of their life. We believe in an America where economic security is a right, not a privilege, and where no one is left behind. Together we can build a nation that reflects these values, one where every individual can thrive and where justice and equity are not just ideals but reality. Our commitment goes beyond these things. We want to create a movement and a government where everyone has a voice and every voice is listened to. We want to build ownership and belonging in the new America we envision. For more information on our mission, watch this video next. Next, the importance of leadership and organization. Every movement needs leaders who inspire, organize, and sustain momentum. These leaders may be charismatic individuals or collective bodies. They're the ones who can channel anger into action and despair into hope. And let's be honest, there's a lot of anger and despair in modern America. Leadership isn't about hierarchy. It's about serving the people and driving the movement forward. To build a truly transformative movement, we need strong, committed leaders at every level. Leadership is not just about charisma or ambition, it's about serving others, creating change, and inspiring collective action. Many organizations already focus on leadership development, such as Leadership for Change, Harvard's Kennedy School's Center for Public Leadership, and the Progressive Change Campaign Committee. Labor unions, community organizing groups like Organizing for Action, and advocacy organizations such as Move On and Indivisible also provide training and resources for budding leaders. But even if you don't have access to these organizations, there are actionable steps you can take to become an effective leader. Leadership requires a blend of hard skills, practical, teachable abilities, and soft skills, which are more about personal attributes and emotional intelligence. Hard skills you should develop include public speaking, organizing logistics for campaigns or events, data analysis, digital marketing, including using social media effectively, and understanding political structures and processes. Books like Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, The Art of Organizing by Marshall Ganz, and courses on civic engagement, civics, sociology, and political science can build these skills. Additionally, many online platforms offer free courses on community organizing, political activism, and leadership. Look into EDX, Coursera, and Khan Academy for accessible resources. Soft skills, on the other hand, involve communication, empathy, conflict resolution, negotiation, and the ability to inspire and motivate others. The Leader's Guide to Storytelling by Stephen Denning is a great resource for understanding how to connect with people through narratives. Practicing active listening, engaging in local community discussions, and building emotional intelligence through resources like Daniel Goleman's work on emotional intelligence can make you a more compassionate and effective leader. Leadership is about both vision and results. Effective leaders know how to turn ideas into action, measure outcomes, and adapt strategies. To evaluate your effectiveness, ask yourself, are people inspired by your vision? Are they taking action? Are you seeing real-world results? We need to listen to each other. Feedback loops from colleagues and community members are essential for improving your approach. Anyone can become a leader, but the most effective leaders are those who are deeply committed to their cause, willing to put in hard work, and humble enough to learn and grow. It's not an easy path. It involves long hours, emotional labor, and the willingness to face setbacks with resilience. Leaders are often the first to face criticism and the last to receive praise, but they persist because they believe in a greater purpose. Do you have the passion to be a leader in our movement? Let us know in the comments below, and please share this video with colleagues and organizational members who you may want to work with. Social media is one of the most powerful tools for modern organizing. Create content that is engaging, informative, and shareable. Use platforms like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram to mobilize people, spread awareness, and create conversations. The Activist's Media Handbook, Lessons from 50 Years as a Progressive Agitator by David Fenton, offers a deeper look into effective online mobilization. Connect with like-minded groups that share your goals. This can amplify your reach and give you access to resources, training, and support networks. Research local chapters of advocacy groups, labor unions, and grassroots movements. Tools like Meetup or online forums can help you find aligned communities. Start small, organize a local meeting or workshop to discuss issues, and form an action plan. Use this opportunity to recruit others, build trust, and inspire further action. Let's give some examples on how to do that. To organize a local meeting or workshop to discuss issues and form an action plan, it is essential to follow a series of steps that ensure the meeting is productive, inclusive, and inspires further action. Here's how to get started. Begin by identifying a specific issue or set of issues that your community is facing and that you wish to address during the meeting. Whether it's economic inequality, climate change, voting rights, or healthcare reform, having a clear focus will help you plan effectively and keep participants engaged. Define a tangible goal for the meeting, such as developing an action plan, raising awareness, or building community support. Choose a venue that is accessible and comfortable for your intended participants. This could be a community center, local library, coffee shop, park, or even a virtual space using video conferencing platforms like Zoom. Make sure to schedule the meeting at a time that works for your community members, taking into consideration their work, family, and other commitments. Invite people from your community who may be interested in the topic. Use a variety of methods to spread the word, including social media posts, emails, phone calls, flyers, and word of mouth. Clearly communicate the purpose of the meeting and why it matters. Be inclusive and encourage people from different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives to attend. Emphasize that everyone's voice matters and that the meeting is a space for collaboration and collective action. Create an agenda that outlines the structure and flow of the meeting. Start with an introduction that explains the purpose and goals, followed by a time for participants to share their thoughts, concerns, and experiences. Allocate time for small group discussions or breakout sessions to foster deeper engagement, belonging, and brainstorming. Conclude with a session dedicated to developing an action plan or identifying next steps. Allow time for questions, feedback, and open dialogue. On the day of the meeting, welcome participants warmly and create a space where everyone feels respected and heard. Begin with a brief introduction, explaining why you organized the meeting and what you hope to achieve. Set ground rules for respectful communication, active listening, and collaboration. Encourage everyone to participate and share their perspectives. Use guiding questions to steer the discussion and ensure it stays focused. Once everyone has shared their thoughts and discussed possible solutions, work together to create a concrete action plan. This could include steps such as forming committees, planning future events, engaging with local officials, starting petitions, or developing educational campaigns. Assign specific roles and responsibilities to participants to keep momentum going. Encourage participants to connect with each other and build relationships. Consider hosting follow-up events or creating a communication channel, such as a group chat or email list, to keep everyone informed and engaged. Building trust and a sense of community will strengthen your efforts and inspire continued participation. After the meeting, take time to reflect on what worked well and what could be improved. Seek feedback from participants to understand their perspectives and identify ways to make future meetings even more effective. Use this feedback to refine your organizing approach and build on the momentum you've created. Organizing a local meeting or workshop may seem daunting at first, but starting small allows you to build confidence, engage your community, and lay the groundwork for meaningful change. Every gathering is an opportunity to recruit others, strengthen bonds, and inspire collective action toward a better future. With persistence and genuine care, small beginnings can lead to powerful movements. Being a leader requires lifelong learning. Stay informed about the latest developments in your cause. Subscribe to newsletters, attend webinars, read relevant literature, and connect with thought leaders and experts. Becoming a leader in a social and political movement is a commitment to service and change. It means putting others first, standing up when others can't, and being willing to make sacrifices for the greater good. But with the right skills, dedication, and support, anyone can become a leader capable of changing their community and our country for the better. This journey may be challenging, but it is also deeply rewarding. Together, we can rise, organize, and reclaim a democratic party that truly stands for the people. There are few things in life as satisfying as making the choice to be part of positive change, to living a life of meaning and purpose. I hope you will join us. We need you! But leadership alone isn't enough. We need structure. This can take many forms, from tightly coordinated groups to loose, decentralized networks. What matters is that we're organized. Our leaders must help us coordinate protests, spread messages, raise funds, and keep the momentum alive. We'll go over the necessary steps in future videos, but how do we mobilize resources, people, money, and communication tools to achieve our long-term goals? We'll discuss that in our next chapter. Movements thrive on resources. We the people need volunteers who knock on doors, make phone calls, spread the word, and stand on the front lines. We need money, small donations, membership fees, crowdfunding. And we need communication. Social media, grassroots meetings, and traditional media must amplify our message. Resources also include knowledge. Educate yourself, your friends, and your community about the issues. Teach reason, civility, civics, critical thinking, and media literacy. The more informed we are, the more powerful our movement becomes. But there's a lot more to it than that. We recognize that no social movement can thrive without mobilizing people, funds, and effective communication strategies. For every individual and aligned organization, building a robust network of resources and communication channels is the key to creating change that lasts. Here's how you can take action, both personally and collectively. Start by building relationships in your neighborhood, workplace, school, or social circles. Talk to people about common grievances, share your vision, and listen to their concerns. Every conversation can strengthen bonds and builds trust, both critical to mobilizing action. Knowledge is power. Learn about issues that matter to you, whether it's healthcare, workers' rights, climate change, or voting reform. Attend workshops, watch videos, read books, and engage in meaningful discussions. Share this knowledge with others to build a more informed base. Social media can amplify your message and engage new supporters. Post content that educates, inspires, and calls others to action. Use hashtags, videos, live streams, and infographics to reach diverse audiences. Does the hashtag New Democratic Party work? But don't stop at likes and shares. Encourage people to take real-world actions like attending protests, contacting their representatives, or joining your cause. Time and money are valuable resources. Volunteer for campaigns, advocacy groups, or community projects. If you can, Donate to organizations fighting for justice, human rights, and systemic change. Every small contribution counts. Attend protests, rallies, town halls, community forums, and other organized events. Throw a potluck barbecue. These gatherings build solidarity, generate momentum, and draw public attention to your cause. Encourage friends and family to join you and invite others to experience the power of collective action. As I've discussed in previous videos, talking about money and politics is important. Talking about politics and money is essential in a democracy because these issues shape nearly every aspect of our lives, from the quality of our healthcare and education to our rights as citizens and the economic opportunities available to us. Even how much time we work and how much free time we have is related to money and politics. When people openly discuss politics and the role of money, they are participating in the democratic process, holding leaders accountable, and sharing perspectives that can lead to collective action and meaningful change. Silence on these matters, on the other hand, allows the powerful to maintain the status quo without oversight, prevents collaboration on solutions, and perpetuates injustices that impact everyday people. An informed citizenry is the backbone of any democracy. When people discuss political issues and the influence of money in politics, they become more knowledgeable about the policies that affect their lives and who holds power. Open dialogue makes citizens more likely to vote, engage in activism, and advocate for their rights. Political leaders and institutions must be held accountable to the people they serve. If people don't discuss politics and money, how campaigns are funded, who donates, and what influence these donors wield, politicians can prioritize the interests of the wealthy and powerful at the expense of everyone else. For example, major issues like healthcare reform or climate change policy can be stalled or weakened by special interests and dark money, as demonstrated by lobbyist influence in Washington, D.C. Transparency is vital to prevent corruption. When citizens actively discuss how money flows through politics, they can identify corruption, demand campaign finance reform, and push for greater transparency. For example, the 2010 Citizens United ruling has allowed unlimited corporate spending in elections, giving wealthy donors disproportionate influence. Without open conversations, this imbalance continues unchecked. By discussing politics and money, people can discover shared grievances, experiences, and hopes. This builds solidarity and strengthens efforts to enact change. Consider social movements like the civil rights movement or labor strikes. These movements began with people discussing the injustices they faced and what needed to change. When people don't stay up with news and current affairs, and when they avoid talking about politics and money, it isolates them from the decision-making processes that shape society. It can lead to widespread ignorance, apathy, and a sense of powerlessness. For example, if voters don't understand how gerrymandering works or how campaign donations shape policy, they can't effectively advocate for reform or hold politicians accountable. Check my other videos that cover these topics. In workplaces, avoiding discussions about wages, for example, can perpetuate income disparities and discrimination. Silence about money and politics often protects the powerful, while disenfranchising those who could benefit from change. Let's take a few moments on how to start engaging conversations about politics and money. Start with shared values. Frame conversations around common values like fairness, justice, opportunity, and security. For example, you can begin by discussing how everyone deserves access to quality healthcare or fair wages. This establishes common ground and reduces defensiveness. Here's a concrete example of how to start such a conversation. A good opening line for a one-on-one conversation about politics and money, especially when neither person has discussed these topics before, could be, "I've been thinking a lot lately about how things like healthcare costs and wages affect all of us. I'm curious, what's your take on how things are going in the country?" This approach invites the other person to share their thoughts without pushing a specific agenda and focuses on relatable, everyday experiences, setting a tone for open and non-confrontational dialogue. Ask open-ended questions. Instead of making declarative statements, ask questions that invite dialogue. How do you feel about the rising cost of healthcare? Or, what are your thoughts on money's role in politics? Invites the other person to share their perspective. Use facts and personal stories. Share verified facts and personal stories to make issues relatable. For example, you might say, I've heard on the Renaissance Spirit YouTube channel that corporations and billionaires spent billions to influence the 2024 election. Here's how it's affected my community. Listen actively. Demonstrate that you're genuinely listening. Acknowledge different viewpoints and be respectful even if you disagree. This approach lowers defensiveness and encourages mutual understanding. Avoid attacks and partisan labels. Focus on policies, systems, and ideas, not on attacking people or political identities. Instead of Republicans, Democrats, always, try, I think this policy affects people in a certain way. What do you think? Find common ground. Most people want similar things: financial security, good education, a safe environment. Focus on those shared desires and work outward to find solutions that resonate with everyone. Be patient and persistent. Engaging conversations about politics and money take time. Not every conversation will go as planned, but persistence is key to shifting perspectives and creating a culture where open dialogue is normalized. By talking about politics and money in an engaging, non-threatening way, we can break down barriers, build stronger communities, and work together toward a more transparent and just democracy. Everyone has a role to play, and every conversation brings us closer to the change we need. Individuals have their role and civic responsibilities, which I cover in my videos on civics and civic virtue. Organizations also have to take a lead to bring about these changes. Affiliate or like-minded organizations have their obligations as well. We need to create a broad coalition. Organizations with shared goals must work together to amplify their impact. Reach out beyond your traditional base, connecting with labor unions, social justice groups, environmental advocates, and even religious civic organizations and individuals. Identify common goals and strategize together to build a unified front. Share resources and expertise. Collaboration requires sharing resources, whether it's funding, communication tools, training programs, or volunteer networks. Pool your collective expertise to create a stronger movement. Consider cross-training programs to equip activists with the skills needed for lobbying, digital organizing, public speaking, and more. Develop comprehensive communication strategies. Build robust communication networks that can quickly mobilize supporters. Utilize email lists, text message alerts, social media channels, newsletters, and even in-person gatherings to spread your message and call for action. Engage media outlets, local, regional, and national, to bring attention to your cause and share compelling stories that connect with people's emotions and experiences. Engage in cross-community outreach. To build a truly inclusive movement, reach beyond traditional constituencies. Engage rural communities, communities of color, LGBTQ+ groups, youth organizations, and religious institutions. Listen to their needs, incorporate their voices, and build trust. Show that your movement fights for everyone, not just a select group. Foster leadership and mentorship. Empower individuals within your movement to take on leadership roles. Provide mentorship, training, and opportunities to lead campaigns or initiatives. A decentralized leadership model, with empowered leaders at every level, strengthens your movement's resilience and reach. Leverage media campaigns. Craft compelling narratives that resonate with your audience. Use video campaigns, podcasts, blogs, and op-eds to reach broader audiences. Highlight personal stories that illustrate the stakes of your cause and mobilize public opinion. Adapt and innovate. Successful movements are flexible. Be prepared to shift strategies, change tactics, and respond to political or social developments. Stay informed about changes in public sentiment and use data-driven strategies to refine your approach. Host training sessions. Offer workshops and training programs to equip supporters with skills in organizing, lobbying, social media, and civil disobedience. Build networks of skilled activists who can mobilize quickly and inspire others. By connecting individuals and organizations, sharing resources, and amplifying each other's messages, we can build a broad, inclusive social movement capable of real change. Reaching beyond traditional bases, mobilizing resources, and working together will strengthen our resolve and expand our reach. This is how we reclaim our party and build an America that works for everyone. Be safe, be diligent, and be open to the experience of making a positive difference in another's life. We want you to be part of the solution. Are you going to be? If you're excited about our movement, continue on. In the next chapter, we'll discuss the steps for strategic action and mobilization. Movements are built on action. Nonviolent resistance, strikes, sit-ins, boycotts, lobbying, these are the tools of change. But we must be strategic. Every protest, every action must be calculated to build support, raise awareness, and put pressure where it counts. We must be adaptable, changing our tactics as needed to meet new challenges. Taking strategic action is the core of any social and political movement. It's where ideas and grievances turn into real-world change. Without strategic actions, a movement risks becoming stagnant and ineffective. The purpose of these actions is to challenge injustices, bring public awareness to issues, pressure decision-makers, and ultimately achieve the movement's goals. Here's how we can take strategic action to build a better democratic party and create a more just and equitable society. Nonviolent protests, marches, and sit-ins have a long history of creating change by drawing public attention to injustices and showing the strength of public support. Examples include the civil rights movement of the 1960s and more recent movements like the Women's March and BLM. Peaceful protests challenge the status quo, pressure political leaders to act, and make people's voices heard. We'll need to organize rallies, marches, or sit-ins around key issues such as voting rights, healthcare, climate change, or economic inequality. We'll publicize these events through social media, local newspapers, and word of mouth to maximize turnout. We'll be strategic about location and timing to attract media coverage and maximize impact. We'll collaborate with aligned organizations to amplify our message. We'll ensure all participants understand the purpose and rules of nonviolent action to maintain focus and effectiveness. Direct action demonstrates public commitment to the cause, raises awareness, and shows political leaders that inaction has consequences. It signals strength and resilience, builds solidarity, and keeps momentum alive. Lobbying puts direct pressure on lawmakers to support legislation aligned with the movement's goals. Advocacy for policy changes at local, state, and federal levels can result in concrete improvements that affect millions of people. It is a key tool for turning demands into law. We'll organize lobbying days where constituents meet with their elected representatives, prepare data, stories, and clear demands to make a persuasive case, write letters, make phone calls, and use social media to reach policymakers. Develop relationships with sympathetic legislators to gain allies within the system. Lobbying makes it clear that citizens are watching and care deeply about specific issues. By working directly with lawmakers, we can push for policies that align with our goals of economic justice, civil rights, healthcare reform, and more. Boycotts and other forms of economic pressure are effective tools for changing corporate behavior, public policies, and even government practices. When companies or governments feel economic pressure, they often respond quickly to protect their interests. We'll organize a boycott against companies that fund anti-democratic candidates or exploit workers. We'll publicize the boycott through social media, campaigns, and informational materials. We'll encourage others to participate and educate them on why the boycott is necessary. If possible, we'll promote alternative businesses that align with the movement's values. Economic pressure campaigns demonstrate the collective power of the movement and force corporate or political entities to listen to our demands. It builds public awareness, shifts behavior, and weakens the influence of money in politics. Legal battles can overturn unjust laws, protect civil liberties, and set important legal precedents. Courts have historically played a pivotal role in advancing civil rights, reproductive rights, and more. We'll partner with legal advocacy organizations, like the ACLU or the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, to challenge discriminatory policies, restrictive voting laws, or corporate abuses. We'll file lawsuits that bring attention to critical issues and seek redress through the courts. We'll publicize legal actions to raise awareness and encourage public support. Legal victories can lead to systemic change and help protect vulnerable populations. By using the legal system strategically, we can challenge powerful interests and secure lasting reforms. Education is key to building an informed and engaged public. When people understand issues and feel connected to the cause, they are more likely to take meaningful action. We'll host community forums, teach-ins, workshops, and webinars to educate the public on issues like economic inequality, voting rights, or campaign finance reform. We'll distribute fact sheets, talking points, create engaging content on social media, and encourage critical thinking and media literacy. We'll mobilize supporters to take specific actions, whether it's attending a rally, writing a letter, volunteering for a cause, or voting in an election. An educated, mobilized public is the foundation of any movement. Empowering individuals with knowledge and tools to act strengthens the movement's reach and effectiveness. Movements become more powerful when they work together. By forming alliances with other groups, we can pool resources, broaden our reach, and amplify our message. We'll reach out to organizations, unions, advocacy groups, and even sympathetic businesses. We'll form coalitions that unite under a common cause, but respect the diversity of each group's specific interests. We'll create joint campaigns, support each other's events, and share resources to build momentum. Coalitions amplify our power and increase the chances of success. Working together with other groups demonstrates solidarity and creates a larger, more inclusive movement capable of challenging entrenched systems. Political and social landscapes are constantly shifting. Successful movements must be able to adapt their strategies in response to new challenges and opportunities. We'll regularly assess the movement's progress and identify what works and what doesn't. We're willing to change tactics, shift focus, or try new approaches when necessary. We'll listen to feedback from you and the community and adjust strategies to meet the needs. Adaptability ensures the movement stays relevant and effective. It shows resilience and a commitment to achieving goals despite changing circumstances. Strategic actions are the backbone of a successful movement. By engaging in direct action, lobbying, economic pressure, legal advocacy, public education, coalition building, and adaptation, we can transform our grievances into concrete, lasting change. Every step we take moves us closer to a more just, equitable, and democratic society. This is the path forward, and every action counts. Together, we will reclaim our democracy and create a better future for all. In the next chapter, we'll discuss building alliances and coalitions. We can't do this alone. We need unions, nonprofits, religious groups, advocacy organizations, and disillusioned Republicans who believe in democracy. Our movement must be a big tent that welcomes all who share our vision, but an organized cadre of like-minded individuals, not an unorganized circus act. Building coalitions with other groups amplifies our power, gives us more resources, and broadens our reach. Building alliances and broad support is essential for creating a powerful social and political movement capable of driving lasting change. When individuals, organizations, and diverse communities come together, they can amplify their impact, overcome entrenched opposition, and achieve common goals. Here's how to build strong alliances with concrete, actionable steps. We need to identify and reach out to like-minded organizations. We'll begin by researching organizations that share similar goals or work on related issues. We'll look for advocacy groups, unions, environmental organizations, civil rights groups, community organizations, and more. We'll compile a list of potential partners. We'll reach out to these organizations through phone calls, emails, or in-person meetings. We'll be clear about our movement's goals and express a genuine interest in collaborating. We'll organize introductory meetings in person or virtual to discuss common goals, explore areas for collaboration, and build relationships. We'll create shared communication channels such as email groups, Slack workspaces, or regular check-in calls to keep communication open and active. We'll form strategic coalitions across movements. We'll plan and host cross-issue summits or conferences where different organizations and communities can come together, discuss their shared goals, and build strategies. We'll ensure diverse voices are represented. We'll identify specific policies or goals that resonate across different groups, such as economic justice, civil rights, climate action, or healthcare reform. We'll use these shared priorities to create a strong foundation for collaboration. We'll develop a coalition agreement that outlines the shared mission, roles, responsibilities, and strategies of the participating groups. This formalizes the alliance and clarifies expectations. We'll organize community forums, town halls, or listening sessions to hear from diverse voices within the community. We'll invite people from all backgrounds to share their experiences, concerns, and hopes. We'll demonstrate genuine interest in the needs of different communities. We'll be patient, listen actively, and show respect for different perspectives. We'll use the feedback we receive to shape the movement's goals, strategies, and messaging. This ensures the movement is inclusive, relevant, and reflective of the people it aims to serve. We'll foster mutual support and resource sharing. We'll establish a system for sharing resources such as training materials, volunteer networks, funding, and communication tools among coalition partners. This could be a centralized online platform or a shared document repository. We'll encourage organizations with specialized expertise in areas like legal advice, digital organizing, and fundraising to train other coalition members. We'll share knowledge and skills to build collective strength. We'll support our partners by promoting their events, campaigns, or initiatives through our own communication channels. This demonstrates solidarity and strengthens relationships. We'll collaborate with coalition partners to create a communication strategy that amplifies our shared message. We'll use a mix of traditional media, press releases, op-eds, and digital tools, social media campaigns, and email newsletters. We'll use personal stories, testimonials, and case studies to humanize the issues and make them relatable. We'll share these stories across platforms to engage a broad audience. We'll develop joint social media campaigns using consistent hashtags, messages, and visuals. We'll encourage all coalition partners to participate and amplify each other's posts for maximum reach. We'll engage influential allies, spokespeople, influencers, and personalities. We'll reach out to influential figures who align with our cause, such as politicians, celebrities, academics, or respected community leaders. When reaching out, we'll be specific about what support we're seeking, whether it's a public endorsement, participation in an event, or a social media post. We'll use the support of influential allies to attract new supporters, gain media attention, and increase the movement's visibility. We'll ensure their involvement is authentic and aligned with the movement's values. We'll be inclusive and adaptable. We'll actively invite people from different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives to join the movement. We'll create spaces where everyone feels welcome and valued. We'll establish working groups within the coalition to focus on specific tasks or issues. This allows for flexibility and adaptability while maintaining overall cohesion. We'll hold regular meetings to assess the coalition's progress, gather feedback, and make necessary adjustments to strategies and goals. By following these steps, we'll build strong alliances and broaden support for the movement. Collaboration, trust, and mutual respect are the foundations of lasting change. Together, we can amplify our collective power, overcome obstacles, and achieve a more just, equitable, and democratic society for all. Every partnership strengthens the movement. Every voice makes a difference. Next, we'll discuss staying the course and the persistence needed to bring all of this together. Movements don't succeed overnight. They face setbacks, opposition, and even repression. But the ones that last are the ones that persist. We must find ways to keep going, to adapt, and to stay committed to our goals. Every victory, however small, matters. Our persistence will lead to systemic change. Building and sustaining a social and political movement is not for the faint of heart. It demands resilience, reason, compassion, strategic thinking, and an unwavering commitment to a vision for a better society. In this step, we discuss the various stages of social movements, what it takes to achieve lasting change, the obstacles we will face, and what success will require in the context of today's political realities, including dismantling the Electoral College and overturning Citizens United. Social movements typically evolve through several stages, each with its own challenges and requirements. The first is emergence, and that's where we're at now. In the early stage, movements are born out of widespread dissatisfaction and shared grievances. People begin to recognize their common struggles, rising inequality, lack of health care, political corruption, and form initial groups to discuss these issues. The movement remains informal and decentralized, fueled by frustration and a desire for change. Next is coalescence. During this stage, the movement gains momentum as more people join and collective action takes shape. Leaders emerge, strategies are developed, and initial campaigns are launched. Protests, marches, lobbying efforts, and public demonstrations become more organized, and the movement's goals are clarified. This is a critical phase where movements gain visibility and build alliances. Next comes bureaucratization. As the movement grows, it requires structure and organization to sustain its efforts. Dedicated leaders, staff, resources, and formal communication networks are established. This stage involves institutionalizing goals, creating coalitions, and launching large-scale campaigns. However, bureaucratization carries the risk of losing grassroots energy if leadership becomes too rigid or disconnected from the base. The final stage of a social and political movement is success, decline, or transformation. Movements may achieve their goals, transform into long-term institutions, or decline due to internal divisions, co-optation, or state repression. Success is rare and often partial. Movements may achieve some goals while others remain elusive. So what will it take to achieve our goals? Achieving monumental goals, such as abolishing the Electoral College and overturning Citizens United, will be a Herculean effort requiring persistent action over many years. Constitutional amendments are notoriously difficult, requiring approval from 2/3 of both houses of Congress and ratification by 3/4 of the states. We must be prepared for long battles, setbacks, and the need to build overwhelming public support to force lawmakers to act. Expect fierce resistance from corporate interests, lobbyists, and political elites who benefit from the status quo. Citizens United unleashed a flood of dark money in politics, and those who profit from this influence will not relinquish their power easily. They will fund opposition campaigns, spread misinformation, and pressure lawmakers to maintain the system as it is. Moneyed interests have significant influence over mainstream media narratives. Movements challenging their power may face biased coverage, misinformation, or outright smear campaigns. This can weaken public support and sow division within the movement. Expect efforts to discredit, delegitimize, and suppress the movement. Protests may be met with police violence, legal challenges, or restrictive laws designed to stifle dissent. Historically, powerful movements have faced brutal crackdowns, and Trump will do everything within his power to try to stop us, to stop an America for all Americans. We have a duty, a right, and an obligation to stand up for our personal freedoms, liberties, and to make the Democratic Party in America a beacon of light, and truly the land of the free and home of the brave. As the struggle drags on, internal divisions may emerge over strategy, leadership, or goals. Activists may experience burnout, disillusionment, or frustration. Sustaining morale, cohesion, and focus is critical to long-term success. Let me tell you a story. I was president of our college Democrats and was a precinct captain for a Democratic presidential candidate. We thought our candidate was going to win, and as the election results came in on election night, our hearts sank as our candidate lost the election. We were devastated. All the time, all the optimism, all the work for nothing. Any of you Kamala Harris supporters know what I mean. It's common, and it's something that we all face moving forward. However, the biggest issue I had with the party at that time was that after the election, it didn't reach out, it didn't keep momentum going. We felt like we were individually lost in a desert, alone. We can't do that now. We have to stay organized, we have to keep the momentum going, and the rank and file and the new party leaders need to keep that line of communication going. I won't lie, the whole experience left me dissatisfied, and I got out of campaign politics for years. We need to keep our team supported and moving forward. Then, of course, there's the pushback we can expect from people who want to make the rich richer and everyone else poorer. The more people who support our movement, the harder it becomes for moneyed interests and political elites to suppress it. Engaging and educating the public, building coalitions, and amplifying stories that resonate with people's lives are crucial. We need to use a combination of direct action, legal challenges, lobbying, media campaigns, and grassroots organizing. Adapt strategies based on opposition tactics, shifting public sentiment, and new opportunities. We'll need to agree to a slate of candidates who are dedicated to our goals, and we'll try to convince America that to attain our goals, America will need to vote for all of our candidates up and down the ballot. A divided government is no friend to our movement. While mainstream media may be biased, independent media and digital platforms can reach millions. Use social media, podcasts, live streams, and alternative news outlets to spread accurate information, counter propaganda, and mobilize supporters. We also have to expand independent media and those with the resources needed to invest in talk radio, talk shows, and other programming that we've discussed in this video. We need to partner with legal advocacy organizations to challenge unjust laws, defend activists, and push for reforms. Engage sympathetic lawmakers to champion legislation that aligns with movement goals. We'll also need to foster a culture of inclusion, respect, and adaptability within the movement. We'll provide support networks for activists, encourage open dialogue, and address divisions quickly and transparently. In a political climate where democratic norms are under siege, movements for reform face greater challenges. Under Trump, expect further attacks on civil rights, voting rights, and democratic institutions. Our movement must be a steadfast defender of democracy, emphasizing participation, engagement, transparency, and accountability, as well as enrich the lives of our supporters through personal belonging, experiences, training, and opportunities to grow within the movement. Success is possible, but not guaranteed. It will require unwavering persistence, the courage to face setbacks, and the ability to build a truly mass movement. We must unite diverse communities, educate millions, and pressure lawmakers to enact change. Every small victory counts, and each setback is a learning opportunity. The stakes are high, but history shows that determined movements can achieve incredible things. We must be prepared to fight through every stage, in every arena, until our vision of a more just, equitable, and democratic America becomes reality. This is not just a campaign. It is a fight for the soul of our country, and together we will prevail. This isn't going to be easy, but what choice do we have? Things will keep getting worse if we don't stand up together. The only alternatives besides a movement is to accept the inevitable decline of our rights, our standard of living, and our quality of life, or move out of the country. Those things aren't going to help America and Americans. What other choice do we have but to stand up and join this fight? Next, and probably the most important chapter of all, why should you be a part of this movement? That's coming next. The fight to reclaim the Democratic Party and build a better America isn't someone else's fight, it's yours, it's all of ours. Together we can stand up for working families, protect human rights, tackle climate change, and fight for economic justice. You are not alone. You belong with us. You are part of a movement that refuses to accept a world where the few dictate the lives of the many. This movement is about unity, not division. It is about building a better future together because, at the end of the day, we are all part of the same race, one human family. Our DNA is 99.9% the same, a powerful reminder that what binds us is far greater than what separates us. We are all connected by our hopes, dreams, struggles, and aspirations for a more just and equitable society. If we truly want to create lasting change, we must stop using divisive language and remember that we are in this fight together. Men across the country are grappling with a myriad of challenges. Job insecurity, stagnant wages, and economic shifts have left many men struggling to provide for their families and plan for the future. Blue-collar jobs have been outsourced, unions have weakened, and wages have failed to keep up with the cost of living. Mental health is a pressing issue, as men are often expected to shoulder burdens alone without seeking help. The rising cost of healthcare, limited access to affordable housing, and the need for meaningful job opportunities are all issues that deeply affect men's lives. We are here to fight for fair wages, stronger labor protections, healthcare for all, and support systems that empower men to thrive. This movement is also about breaking down toxic stereotypes and creating a society where men can openly express their challenges and find strength in solidarity. We men aren't the same, but we all have the same needs, wants, and desires. Society should recognize that, and the new Democratic Party needs to deliver. Women have borne the brunt of economic inequality, facing wage gaps, workplace discrimination, and limited access to affordable childcare and reproductive health care. The fight for equal pay is far from over, and the struggle for bodily autonomy is being challenged daily. Many women are balancing work, caregiving, and the crushing weight of student debt, with little support from a system that often ignores their needs. We are fighting for an America where women's voices are heard, where healthcare is a right, where reproductive freedom is protected, and where every woman can pursue her dreams without fear of discrimination or violence. This movement is about uplifting women, ensuring their safety, and breaking down barriers that hold them back. Minority communities in America continue to face systemic injustices and barriers that affect every aspect of life, such as economic opportunities, education, healthcare access, safety, and representation. Racial profiling, mass incarceration, discriminatory policies, and social inequities persist, reinforcing cycles of poverty and disenfranchisement. Economic inequality hits minority communities particularly hard, with wage gaps, limited access to capital, and employment discrimination hindering economic mobility. Healthcare disparities mean higher mortality rates and limited access to essential services, while voter suppression efforts and gerrymandering target the political power of marginalized groups. Many groups, like Native Americans, people with disabilities, and people of color, fight these and other issues, compounding the tribulations they face, making their struggles even more severe than the rest of the population. The poor and working-class Americans have carried the weight of this nation on their backs, yet for too long they have been overlooked, undervalued, and left behind. Wages have stagnated, while the cost of living, housing, healthcare, groceries, education, and basic necessities continues to rise. Many are forced to work multiple jobs just to make ends meet, with little hope of saving for the future, building wealth, or escaping poverty. Economic inequality isn't just a talking point. It's a daily and dark reality that grinds people down, stripping away dignity and opportunity. Our movement is dedicated to fighting for a society where the poor and working class are respected, protected, and empowered. We stand for living wages, strong labor protections, affordable housing, accessible healthcare, and equitable educational opportunities. We seek to end the exploitation of workers, dismantle policies that perpetuate poverty, and hold corporations and the wealthy accountable for hoarding wealth at the expense of everyday people. This movement is about creating a country where no one has to choose between paying rent and putting food on the table, where the working class is uplifted, and where poverty is not a death sentence, but a challenge we are determined to overcome together. If you are struggling to pay your bills, support your family, or simply find a fair shot at a better life, this is your fight. We are here to stand with you, to demand justice, and to build an economy that works for everyone, not just the rich and powerful. Together we will rise. Together, we will create a nation that values every worker, every family, and every person fighting for a fair chance at the American dream. This movement is yours. Join us and make it a reality. Our movement needs to address all of these issues, as well as highlight the needs of individual groups through the larger lens of equality and civil rights. Our movement is here to change that and not to put the needs of one group over another, but work for all Americans. We are fighting for a society where everyone is treated with respect and dignity, where the color of your skin or your cultural background doesn't determine your opportunities or safety. We are working to dismantle systemic racism, reform criminal justice, protect voting rights, and ensure equal access to education, jobs, and healthcare. This movement is about building true equity and lifting up every voice, no matter where you come from or what challenges you've faced. By uniting together, we can create an America that delivers on its promises of justice, equality, and freedom for all. Your fight is our fight, and together, we will overcome every barrier in our way. The challenges we face are not exclusive to one gender, race, or background. Economic insecurity, the high cost of living, healthcare struggles, climate change, and attacks on civil liberties affect us all. Nearly every American is struggling to provide for their families, find good-paying jobs, access healthcare, and live with dignity. We must see each other as allies, not adversaries, in this fight for justice. Divisive language only serves to pit us against each other, to distract us from the real sources of our pain: corporate greed, political corruption, and systemic inequality. We cannot let ourselves be divided by race, gender, religion, or any other line drawn to weaken us. Instead, we must unite around our common humanity and shared goals. This movement is about building bridges, not walls. It's about creating a society where everyone, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to live freely and fully. Imagine a society where we see each other not as competitors but as fellow Americans, all striving for a better future. Men and women must stand shoulder to shoulder, fighting for fair wages, health care, reproductive rights, racial justice, and economic security. Together, we can create a world where every child has a bright future, every worker is treated with dignity, and every voice is heard. It starts by rejecting division and embracing unity. We are one people, one America. Our differences are small compared to what we share. This movement calls on everyone, men, women, young, old, rich, poor, black, white, brown, red, LGBTQ+, and more, to rise together. By lifting each other up, we can build a world that reflects the best of who we are. Please join us and take your place amongst us and let your voice be heard. We need you. Be part of this movement to create a more compassionate, inclusive, and just society. Together, as one human family, we will stand up, speak out, and reclaim our democracy for everyone. This is our moment, let's seize it together. Our channel, The Renaissance Spirit, will be with you every step of the way. We'll provide tools, education, and a platform to organize, strategize, and build a brighter future. This is your call to action. Join us. Together, we will reclaim the Democratic Party and take back our country for the people. This is just the beginning. Stay tuned for more guides on building strategic alliances, educating yourself and your community, and mobilizing for change. Our next video will focus on how to take control of the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, which is the formal governing body of the United States Democratic Party, responsible for overseeing its operations at the national level. The DNC plays a critical role in shaping the party's platform, supporting candidates running for office, organizing the Democratic National Convention during presidential election years, and raising funds to support its activities and candidates. Taking over the DNC will be crucial to realizing our vision of America. We'll need you to start taking action now. Start with a conversation about money or politics, and please subscribe, like, and share this video with as many folks as you can. And let me know in the comments what feedback you have on this crucial movement. Are you with me, America?